The meeting of the Board of Ellis County Commissioners will now come to order. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, Bobby, if you could call the roll.
Commissioner Dean Hazelworth.
Present.
Chair Butch Schreier.
Present.
Commissioner Neil Younger.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Order of business. Any changes to the order of business? No? Okay. No executive sessions tonight. Okay. Prior minutes. Commissioners, did you review the minutes?
We have, sir.
Okay. Any concerns?
None.
Minutes stand as submitted.
Sorry. It's
Okay.
off now.
Consent agenda. Do we hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a, go ahead.
Nope.
I'll
you're
make a
fine.
move to approve the consent agenda, items A through G.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Any issues from persons not on the order of business? Don't see anyone jumping up. Okay, the monthly department report. Commissioners, you get a chance to review it?
Yep, everything looks good as always.
Yep, they're very thorough. They do a great job.
Absolutely. Okay, the next agenda item is the Historical Society update.
Good evening, Commissioners. Detective Brad Rickey with the Ellis County Sheriff's Office. I'm also the county liaison for the Ellis County Historical Society. I'd like to introduce our board president, Priscilla Hunt, who is to my right, and then to my left is our interim director, who you may have remembered from our last meeting, is Amanda Rupp. As I try to get technology to work for me, we'd like to show you some photos of our recent move. If you're okay with it, Amanda will approach
Fine.
and give you the document in which I'm going to read from, so you can make notes and use that to look through as I explain.
Thank you. Some papers, huh? There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bobby, if you would like a digital copy of that, I can make sure to get that sent to you as well. So, and if anybody would like a copy from the audience, please look up Amanda. She'd be more than happy to give that out to you. Commissioners, it's been a little while since our last report to you. We wanted to use this opportunity to give you a progress report of what we've been up to for the last month and a half since we last addressed. Not this last weekend, but the 3 weekends before and a lot of days in between. Well, it's been hot, first of all, but secondly, we have been working furiously to get all of our artifacts from the former Hayes Daily News storage garages to, hold on here. Amanda, I might let you.
Okay.
There we go. From the 2 storage garages located at the former Hayes Daily News to our 100 West 7th campus. And let me tell you, historical artifacts are extremely heavy. I did not know that when I was signing up for this job. Everything at least has to weigh over 50 pounds. In fact, there's one photo in there of a switchboard that came from the Fort Hays State University Sternberg Museum, and let me tell you, it is filled with nothing but copper and wood. It was extremely heavy. We utilized about 400 hours of labor through volunteers, our employees, and also our board members to get all of that stuff out of there. And I'm very happy to say that we have everything out. We utilized several volunteer trailers. And some of the historical artifacts that we took out of there were anything from clothing, typewriters, more typewriters, and then there was even more typewriters after that. I don't know who kept all these typewriters, but there is a lot of them. We could have a display of typewriters just with what we have alone. We had opera chairs, school chairs, rocking chairs, and even a chair that came from Tommy Drum's Saloon there on West 9th Street, which was really kind of awesome. The other thing that's really difficult with moving all this stuff is not only is it hot and it's heavy, but literally everything you're about ready to move, you look at it and you go, oh, what the heck is that? That's really interesting. And it takes you about triple the amount of time just to pick it up and move it into the trailer. But luckily, we had Priscilla here that made sure that we were on task and on time. We had the Hayes City Meat Wagon, which was extremely heavy as well. And I'm going to talk about where we've got that now. The old Fort Hayes diorama. If you remember being out at the old fort and seeing a diorama of the whole fort with the glass casing, we actually have that now, and we moved that as well. Native American artifacts, Bissing furniture, and again, all of the Sternberg artifacts that were given to the Ellis County Historical Society, which I don't think a lot of people realize that we took all of that stuff. So then other than that, we cleared space in the red brick building basement by disposing, or we're attempting to dispose of digitally scanned documents. That alleviated space so that we could move even more stuff into our campus. We had the stone church roof re-roofed so that way we don't have to worry about water damage. We examined why our security system for some reason was inoperable, and then we fixed it and got some more security integrated within that, so that way we don't have to worry about people stealing those precious artifacts that could never be replaced. We had our first Ellis County Historical Society 50th Anniversary Celebration Committee meeting, which Amanda and I are both on. It is going to be awesome. It's going to be on November 7th of this year. We're going to have anything from presenters talking about history of Ellis County to gunfighters. We're also planning to raffle commemorative firearms, as well as I hear a barn dance. We're not for positive on that. Apparently they haven't seen me dance. So we have created a 2021 Oktoberfest committee, and they have yet to meet, but our intent is to have a presence for the Ellis County Historical Society at the this year's Oktoberfest. We continue to rely on our volunteers to maintain our landscapes, not only on our campus, but we're also in charge of the Boot Hill, if you know where that is. That needs to be mowed as well. Sorry. Additional work sessions have been committed to for a better understanding of our goals and roles. We've created a satellite exhibit, and that's where the Hayes City Meat Wagon comes in, that I spoke about before. Our interim director has made arrangements for a satellite exhibit at the Big Creek Crossing Mall that's located at 2918 Vine Street, located in the former Christopher Banks storefront window, and it's entitled From the Deep, which kind of sounds like an ocean, but what it is all of that stuff that we found deeply buried in the Hayes Daily News garage. We took that stuff and we put it out at the mall so that people could see some of the stuff that we have to offer. We've moved our bookkeeping budget from what we have now to a QuickBooks Online accounting software solution. So that way we can review it not only by the person that is putting that together, but also the other board members can also fluently watch that as well. Facebook. Commissioners, I don't know if you guys have a Facebook presence, but if you do, you can check us out on Facebook at ECHS Hayes. That's all one word. Guys, we have seen a tremendous explosion of page engagement. It's up 200% from when this gal has started working on it just about a month and a half ago. And I want to read this verbatim because I don't want to get it wrong. Our stat insights show our posts have reached 10,000 new accounts during the past 30 days alone. We're also working on a website. It's not been completed yet, but when it is completed, it's going to be at ECHS-Hayes, all one word, .org. We're currently in negotiations. We like the satellite idea. If we're too full there on our campus, we're going to start branching out, putting these satellite locations, like at the mall, at other places. So we're currently trying to set up satellite displays at the Ellis Railroad Museum, at the Ellis County Law Enforcement Center, John Deere Implement, and the Hayes City Works buildings. So, commissioners, this might be something for you to think about once I'm done presenting here, but would you have consideration for the Ellis County Historical Society to put a small display here at the administrative building? Something that you might think about. If you would agree to that, we would take care of putting a display, working with Greg Herbert and making sure that it doesn't get too wild or anything together for our community building here. We're also exploring the possibility of implementing these satellite displays, not just in Hayes, not just in Ellis, but in smaller communities, our townships like Munger, Pfeiffer, Catherine. That way people don't have to go all the way from their small townships into Hayes just to see their history. We've also set a review committee to currently evaluate our 6-month employees. Hopefully to become permanent staffing. Let's see. Oh, this one's actually exciting as well. We've been in contact with the publishers, or our intern director has been in contact with our publishers of At Home in Ellis County Volume 1. That is our best-selling publication, to secure more copies so that we might be able to sell those soon. That is something that we are asked about all the time. Let me see here. Our staff and select board members are enrolled in the Dane G. Hansen Foundation, How to Fundraise. So we're all working towards that. We have avenues for utilizing Fort Hays interns and volunteers at higher levels than previous years in the works. And our interim director is in the beginning stages of coordinating a project with the Hayes High School students on the impact of the 2020 pandemic, so that we can document that. I thought that was a really great idea. What an impact for these high school students to live with masks and the pandemic, and just get their side of how they felt during all of that. One of the last two things is membership and sponsorship forms have been updated and are sent to our dedicated supporters. We'll work on new material, and membership campaigns are underway. Commissioners, we would be honored if you would join our society with a pledge of membership or sponsorship in accordance with your level of support. You have any membership form? Okay, okay.
Lots of forms for you.
Darren must have taken all of them. He may just fill them all out. Okay, you guys got them. Awesome, awesome. Okay, and then our last point, and I know I've been kind of long-winded, I appreciate your time, commissioners, is we plan to publish our next newsletter on or by September 1st of this year. And if you are a sponsor or a member, you will get that directly in the mail. So, I feel like the Micro Machine Man, and I spoke so quickly. I hope you guys caught it all. That's why we gave you a copy of this. Do you guys have any additional questions for us?
I just have a question. We can tell here from the listing that you guys have been very busy. There's no question about that. When do you anticipate you can ever open the museum again to the public?
That's kind of a tough question because the building that we're in, which was the Presbyterian Church, and it's not disabled availability. The restrooms are down in the basement. The stairs are hard for people
Sure.
to get up. We have the fire station museum, which is an awesome building. We can use the restrooms there. We also have the Volga German House and the harness shop, so we do have some places people can come and see. The Stone Church, we could probably do maybe some displays there in the Stone Church, just to get people in there, maybe with downtown tours, just periodically. But it would be nice if we had another permanent place downtown or in the vicinity to have all of our stuff together. But it's going to take time and it's going to take some money. And all of us have been at this since March only. And everybody has worked so hard. The help and the board members and volunteers. Even had high school kids that helped move the Hayes Daily. And
Fort Hays,
college,
yeah.
Fort Hays guys helped. So we had a lot of turnout and a lot of help, but we've got a group of people that all work together. And you don't see that very often where you get a whole group
So
together. So we're
to direct-
doing,
To directly answer your question, Commissioner Schleier, yes, we do anticipate at
Yes.
some point we have that answer for you.
Mhm.
But we're drawing everything in. It's like we've got a whole bunch of articles and a whole bunch of stuff out there. We need to recess or draw all that back in, get an account of what we have.
Sure.
And get a base. We need to decide whether we're going to be able to use these buildings that we're currently using just for storage. But that's going to take some time. We don't want you to think that we forgot about you or we don't want to come to you. That's why we want to give you these progress reports.
Sure.
So if you will give us some time, we're going to get to that answer, but we want to give you the right answer. And that's what I think we can get.
Yeah, absolutely.
how often would you like a report from us? Would you like to hear from us like once a month or every 2 weeks, kind of our progress of where we're
Commissioners?
at?
I think every other month would be sufficient.
Yeah, every couple months.
Unless something big comes up that we want to come and tell you.
And you're always welcome, you can come anytime, but I think every other month would be sufficient.
And I'd love you guys to come down and see what we deal with. That would be great if one time you guys would come down and see for yourself all the artifacts. I know a lot of you grew up here like I did, and we went to the museum down at the Fort Hays. That's where my mom took us on Sundays. And all those artifacts are in our possession, which is, it's awesome, except for the fish within the fish, the things that the Sternberg has. But it's amazing the stuff we have and what we grew up with, and our parents grew up. And
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, definitely come and see us.
Commissioner, any questions?
No, Brad, appreciate all your information you gave us. That is really good. Far as, I guess, to answer maybe your first question, far as putting a display here in the admin center, if you coordinate that with Darren and Greg, I don't have a problem with that. I think
I
it'd be
wouldn't
good
either.
to advertise what you guys are doing and potentially even, leave membership forms maybe at your display site.
It's a great idea.
I mean, just to help promote what you guys are doing, I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
What kind of display are we going to be looking at or have in here?
Have you decided what you're going to put here?
I haven't decided. In each area where we're going to put different ones, hope to be pertaining to that particular place. So in the law enforcement center, I've talked to Don Scheibler about putting some of the docket books from the 1800s, early 1900s in there. So I would hope that it would have something to do with the county as a whole here. In the the water works facility, I hope to put our large display that we have. that's not being used. So every place that we're trying to put it, I want it to pertain to what's in that building. So it's not just a general, hey, our museum's not open, so you can go around all these other places and look. It would have something to do with each place. And that's why they would have.
Mr. Younger, I think that's a really great idea that maybe you're thinking here, and that is before we just start putting what we think is applicable to our administrative building, how about we pick out some of our choice pieces and we'll put that on paper, present it to you guys so that you could agree that, yep, that would be most appropriate for our administrative building.
And I am glad you guys are here, and glad to hear that you're trying to, do a book and have a fundraiser. You guys are on the right track. You have spent a lot of time. Everything that you have scanned, those documents, are you going to possibly burn them? I mean, I'm sure the county, we could help you out with that.
To give just a quick background, we received those documents, and ladies, correct me if I'm wrong here, but we've received probably about 40 to 50 boxes full of documents from our Ellis County District Court. Now, this could be anything from civil to criminal cases, but our understanding is all of those documents have been scanned, have been reproduced, but they've been just sitting idly within our storage for years.
Before we were there.
Our storage needs are so important to us that we're going to have to move those off-site and get those destroyed by Document Resources or a shredding company, so that we can make room for other articles that are incoming.
Sure.
But only under the pretense that we know that those documents have been saved.
And then as far as the, like the maintenance in the summertime, like mowing and stuff, have you approached the city? Because we're all one community, maybe they would,
No, but I love that
That's
idea.
a good idea.
Can I tell them you
they
sent
would
us?
help out.
Well, really, right now, we've had volunteers, and sometimes during harvest,
That's
our
right.
volunteers couldn't help to mow. So then we had to hire somebody to mow. We have volunteers that are doing Boot Hill, but we don't have any volunteers that can do it all the time down on Seventh, so we had to hire someone. And yeah, if the city would add that to their mowing, that would be great. That would be a plus for us
Sure.
and for everyone.
That's all I have.
Yeah.
I think it's a great deal you guys are doing, and thank you for the update, Brad. It's exciting to see exciting people. You're excited about what you're doing in the
We are.
community and
We
in the
are.
county,
You picked
so.
a good guy as a liaison.
Well,
He's a hard worker.
a little long-winded though, I'm sure. Okay, thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, our next agenda item is the Hayes Area Chamber of Commerce Insurance. Sarah?
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioners, for giving me the opportunity to speak to you tonight. My name is Sarah Wassinger, and I'm the President and CEO of the Chamber in Hayes. And I was excited to come and present this topic to you because we have a lot of businesses in Ellis County who could really benefit from a community-wide health plan. I just wanted to give you a little bit of background from where we've been to where we are today. So our chamber actually worked on putting this plan together back in 2019. We had a lot of interest within our business community, and then the pandemic happened. Obviously, the middle of a health pandemic isn't necessarily the most ideal time to switch over health insurance. So we pretty well pressed pause at that point in time since we couldn't get our fingers or get everything off of the ground and running. So the additional feedback that we've gotten from members is their year-over-year insurance premiums continue to escalate at alarming levels, and so much to the point that they're either having to scale back and not offer benefits, or maybe reduce how many people on their staff get those benefits. So our chamber is no different. We have a 17% year-over-year increase for our premiums alone with only 4 people or 3 people on our plan. So we're even looking at this as a valuable option for our organization too. So with that being said, we had a lot of other chambers of commerce across the state who were in the same boat and were trying to put together a health plan. They as well were unsuccessful during this time. So at that point in time, we actually started to look at partnering and pulling our resources together, especially now that the health condition of our communities tends to be a little bit more positive. So at this point in time, we do have 10 total chambers of commerce across the state who are in what's going to be called the Chamber of Kansas Community Health Plan. That, of course, includes us, Larned, Spring Hill, Paola, Phillipsburg, Norton, Gardner, Edgerton, Coffeyville, Iola, and the Northeast Johnson County Chamber, and they actually represent 10 different communities in their region. So we have not yet heard back from Pittsburgh if their chamber would be participating as well, but that could be a very beneficial thing for the plan. So this group is going to be governed by a board of directors. Every chamber of commerce participating will have 2 different people serving on the board. Ours is Brian Brady. He's actually one of our chamber board of directors. He, of course, is the president and CEO of First Care Clinic. And then George Harms from Hayes Med has also agreed to represent. We feel like it's important to have our largest health institution in Hayes represented on that board. And then the chamber directors or presidents also get to participate in those processes. We just don't have voting capacity. Another question that we've been getting is that this is going to be bonded. We do have insurances that will be put in place to kind of cover the plan from a fiduciary standpoint, so we can make all of our legal obligations for bonds and things of that nature. Outside of that, if you look at slide 6, we do have the plan coverages. There would be 3 different types of plans, so a low premium, a middle premium, and then a higher capacity premium. I won't go into all the details on that as you're able to kind of look at that, but that would essentially be a choice. So not every employer would have to have everybody on plan 1, plan 2, or plan 3. The employee could actually pick which plan would be more beneficial for them and then sign up that way. And then if you go to the next slide, we also have prescription coverages within that as well. And again, you don't have to pick plan 1 for prescription if you're on plan A for the health insurance. You can really customize it based on what your specific needs are going to be. The biggest difference between plan 1 and plan 2 is that specialty drugs won't be included on plan 2. There are a lot of different manufacturer rebates that exist right now for a lot of pharmaceuticals. So of course, we would be utilizing those rebates to help further drive down the cost of the plan. Everything that I'm discussing here is very similar to what you as a county shifted over to this last year. There are a few pertinent details that we feel are important to share. And the reason we did ask to speak with you is we know that you as commissioners represent a lot of people and you're in contact with a lot of people, whether it be ag industry, farming, things of that nature, who maybe don't come to Chamber of Commerce events and things of that nature. So it's our hope that by them learning about this, they could potentially save themselves and their families and their small businesses money too. But with that being said, any business or nonprofit or government entity can take advantage of this plan. They would just need to be a member of one of the participating chambers of commerce. So if you live in Larned and you want to be in that chamber, that's great. If you're in Ellis County, we hope that you pick the chamber in Hayes to support us in our endeavors as well. But we will have an initial health questionnaire, health medical questionnaire survey that will be released here in September. And then it's important to note that because any business who wants to be on that plan will have to have all of their eligible employees fill out that health questionnaire. From that point in time, we would actually bid out the plan to different providers. And then at that time, once we have all the bids back, that insurance board of trustees would get together and choose the final plan offering. And then those premium prices and who the carrier would be released to any business who had filled out that health questionnaire. The nice thing is that this is a zero obligation. If those numbers come back and it's not as attractive as what they were hoping for, or if it's from a provider that they say, well, we just don't know if that's a good fit for us, they can pull back at that time and they have zero commitment to join the plan. There would be another assessment of the pool itself. If there would be a couple of employers that would leave and it would be close enough to 5% of the census changing, we would reevaluate those rates one more time to give the final rates to the businesses. And then it's very important to know that we won't be sharing the rates with any business or nonprofit that does not go through that questionnaire process. That's more so just to protect the integrity of the pool, and we feel that you need to go through that because that could obviously change what the cost of premiums would be. We get this question a lot. Vision and dental will be a part of the plan. We hear overwhelmingly that that's something that people want, so that will be included. The effective rate for this change would be January 1 of 2022. So after everybody fills out that initial health questionnaire, it's important to know that if your business signs up, they're going to have to fill out that information again to technically enroll in the plan. And then we would require a minimum of 65% participation. That is just because if we don't put that in there, there's a good chance that people might put their unhealthier folks on the plan, and that would be all they would get, and that could drive down or drive up the cost of the plan. So there will be different cost containment strategies that will be implemented as well to help make sure that this remains affordable for everybody. The one nice thing about this is that we'll be working with a TPA, Corporate Plan Management. They would take care of paying all the claims and contracting all the claims, which makes it very nice for not only the healthcare provider and the community in which the person's being served, but also on the back end for the business, because all of those expenses essentially get sent out as one invoice. They just really have to cut a check and their work is done. So the plan does follow under the IRS code and Department of Labor regulations, so everything would fall within what you would be required to as of our date today. And then we do have some upcoming Q&A sessions where businesses that are interested in learning more about this plan, or maybe they have specific questions on how it works. So August 17th at 9:30, August 19th at 6 p.m., August 25th at 12:30 p.m., and then August 30th at 2:30 p.m. These will all be virtual. It's kind of hard to have an in-person gathering when you're talking about 10 different communities. So the links for those sessions are actually going to be available on our Chamber's website, but we also have access to them. We did create a Chambers of Kansas Community Health Plan on Facebook, so all of that content as well can be found there. I know that's a lot of information, and I would stand for any questions if you have any.
Commissioners, any questions?
Only thing I know, last meeting that I was at, somebody brought the question about part-time or full-time,
Yes.
just so the community knows.
Yes, so full-time employees would be eligible for this. At this point in time, we've opted to not have part-time staff be eligible. Again, the pool could change from year to year based on what the board's feedback is. So I've definitely expressed that at the last meeting that we had, and it's something that I think we'll talk about for 2023 possibly.
Okay, thank you.
Do you anticipate a large portion of the chamber businesses joining this plan?
So we have 25 businesses that have currently raised their hands saying, yes, we are very interested in learning more about this. This is really exciting because last week was when we really finalized what the plan was going to look like. So now that we have those pieces of information, we believe that we'll have a lot more businesses raise their hand to kind of see what's going on. And then we did try to do a variety of times for those Q&A sessions because we realized that every business is different and when they see clients and customers, and we wanted to make that accessible for everybody.
Sure. Commissioner Hazelhorst?
That's a lot of information after read through, Sarah, but thank you. But it does look interesting, and I know we just did switch carriers here just this past year, but definitely something to look into, and thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you. I think the biggest thing for everybody to keep in mind is law of averages does usually prevail. The more people you have on any insurance plan, the more attractive the rates will get, and that's absolutely what we're after here. The more money we can save our business community, we think that that can keep business doors open in Ellis County, and that's good for everybody. So,
Sure,
It is.
absolutely.
thank you for your
Sarah.
time.
Thank you.
Sarah.
Okay, the next agenda item is the Ellis County Comprehensive Plan. Mason?
Good evening, Commissioners. Mason Reuter, Environmental Planning Supervisor. With me this evening, I do have Keith Marvin and Marvin Planning Consultants with us. I have David McDaniel, the Chair of the Planning Zoning Commission, and the rest of the board here as well in support. Just a real brief kind of history. We started this process back in 2018, so majority of the time that I've been here at the county, we've been working on this. So we've had many public discussions, hearings, focus groups, surveys, input from the various communities, the learning here and there with revisions of statutes and whatnot. And we have compiled them into the documents of our new comprehensive plan, our new zoning regulations and subdivision regulations, incorporated them with the revision of our zoning fee schedule, which didn't change much from what we had back in 2006, just keeping them in line with what the rest of the state has. And then the procedural guide, which just allows us to implement these documents through the various forms and meetings as we do. So with all of that, it has come down to the final step in the process, which is adoption of all of these documents. And we are here to stand for any questions you may have on them.
Commissioners, any questions?
I mean, it's just, it always has been a working document. I think your board and staff did a great job revising it again. I mean, it's just something that you have to keep changing almost every year.
Yeah, I mean,
Any changes, this has to change. And you guys did a good job with that again. I know we've sent it back to you in the past, and you bring us new updates. I think you did a good job again.
well, thank you, thank you. Yeah, as of tomorrow, I mean, it could change again with
Okay.
how things change every day, so.
I mean, it's a working document as the so-called 3-mile zone may shrink, or it may be adapted in different areas and not certain parts of the county. You know, you got to work around that, and you guys have done a good job with that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. In addition to the mention of the ETJ, so what happens, should you choose to move forward with the adoption of these documents this evening, the ETJs would then be subject to individual interlocal agreements between the communities. So as staff working with council, we're working on writing up those documents to make sure that they meet the requirements of both entities between them. As of right now, it doesn't sound like the city of Ellis will be changing theirs from how they function currently right now. And the city of Hayes has been working with us. We've spoken with staff, and we're working with council right now to make sure those are written up appropriately, and we'll bring that to you at a future date should these be adopted this evening.
And the plan does address the agritourism issue?
Yes, it does. It has been defined, and statute is annotated in there.
Okay, sounds good. Commissioner Neal?
Yeah, I too did spend some time with them guys on there, and sometimes it's boring, but sometimes it's exciting, and with all their staff, they did an excellent job, so.
Yeah, I think we're thinking we went through 5 or 6 different commissioners, 3 county administrators, 5 or so planning members. So it's had a lot of different input from all various levels, so
Sure.
it's nice to have that. And speaking of the Planning and Zoning Board, we do have 1 member still available, so.
Commissioners, is there a motion?
And B, hang on here.
I can get it.
Well, go ahead.
I move to approve the adoption of the zoning regulation, subdivision regulation, zoning fee schedule, comprehensive plan, and producial guide as presented by Marvin and the consultant and staff.
I'll second Neil's motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners, and we'll get those interlocal agreements written up and brought to you at a later date.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mason?
Thank you for all your staff being here too.
Yes.
Okay, let me find out where I'm at here. Okay. Public Works Department, dump trucks.
Good evening, Commissioners. Brendan McKay, Ellis County Public Works Director. So last year, $200,000 was put aside for dump trucks, and as you can see from the sheet, $200,000 doesn't get dump trucks, it gets a dump truck. And $200,000 was also put away for a lowboy truck and trailer, and the price of lowboy trucks, or trucks to utilize pulling a lowboy trailer and a lowboy trailer itself is also over $200,000. So talking among staff here, we feel we'd be better suited by combining those 2 sources together and purchasing 2 new dump trucks. And then instead of trading in 2 dump trucks for those 2, because last year when we traded in 3 dump trucks, we got $28,000 back for those 3 dump trucks, is to hold back one of the trucks and get an equipment trailer with the leftover funding. Because currently we're using our lowboy truck and trailer to haul around our backhoe about every day. And that's, I'm sure if you've seen it go on the road, it's pretty overkill. It looks like he's hauling the power wheels around. It's just putting needless wear on our lowboy. So our thought is, our hope is, if we're able to go forward with this and get an equipment trailer as well to outfit one of our older trucks for, it would allow it to maneuver our equipment through the county more efficiently and allow us to hold on to that lowboy truck and trailer and save it from needless wear and tear. So we reached out through Sourcewell and through local dealers here. We got a quote from Western Star, from Peterbilt, and from Bruckner's. Western Star, that truck, the 49X or 4900 series, is actually a little bit bigger than what we would have wanted, which is the 4700 series. But they're unable to quote that until here in September because of body style change. But our plan is, if you go forward with those 4900 series, here in 5-7 years, when it be time to trade them off, basically take the beds off, turn one into one of our water trucks, because we've got an aging water truck that need to be replaced in this time, around the same time frame, and turn the other one, take the bed off, shorten the frame, put a fifth wheel on it, and there's a good used tractor for pulling around a lowboy. So it's basically trying to maximize what we can do with equipment and gain the most value for what we're spending. Because right now we use a dump truck, it goes 7-10 years, and then is traded in for not a whole lot out of it. But if we can reutilize that vehicle a second time, it saves us money in the long run and is more efficient with our tax dollars. Do any of you have questions on those three options that are presented there?
I guess my first question is, did we quote apples to apples like we did last year when we bought dump trucks?
Yes, sir.
So explain to me that dump bed that's on the I-70 truck. I've been around equipment forever and I've never heard of that brand of dump body in my life.
So it's a brand that's pretty common on the Western Stars, generally manufactured up north and come out of Canada, some of them.
So how do you, what's it called, a BBU or something?
The Bibiu.
A BBU.
So being from up north, I'm familiar with the bed. I've had no issues with them, and the I-70 dealer here has been using them for quite a long time, and they haven't had any issues with that.
Because all of our trucks now have Henderson beds on them.
Some do, some don't.
Because that's what we've been quoting in the past, it had to be a Henderson bed. That's just why I wondered if this is a lot cheaper bed.
No, not really.
So what is the price on this bed?
That is around $45,000, and the Henderson bed from another local outfitter was $60,000.
That's exactly why I was asking that question. I already knew my answer, but I was just curious.
Yep.
Why
And
this
steel-
bed's $20,000 cheaper?
15, and it could be where it's made, because historically beds in Kansas are generally higher priced because we don't have the steel manufacturing here that you find in other states, or where I'm from by all the steel mills. It's $30,000 any day for an AR 500 bed. It surprised me, the sticker shock, when I was getting quotes back for $60,000 for the same AR 500 bed, just 700 miles down the road. But that was quoting through local dealers here, so the truck pricing is that much less expensive. If it's $15,000 for a bed in difference, that means the truck's $25,000 more as well between the different models. And the reason that my staff would prefer the Western Star, we have quite a few Western Star in our fleet. We have the ability to communicate with the engine when it throws a code. Our newer Peterbilts, when they throw codes, we don't have the diagnostic software to connect to them fully. We can do some diagnostic work, but there's also some stuff that we just have to take it to a shop for. So if we go with a Western Star, more times than not, we'll be able to do diagnostic work in our own shop, order our parts, and save us money there.
Extended warranty on the Western Star, how much is that?
It is, I can pull it up for you.
I'm sure it's here somewhere, I just haven't found it yet. And I looked for it.
Western Star, $3,150, $3,150 for a 5-year, 200,000 mile extended
What
warranty.
is it on the Mac?
On the Mac, let me see if
I guess I don't have that in mind.
I don't have that one on the top of my head. That was the one thing that failed to print out this morning. But it was around the $3,000 to $6,000 like the others were.
Peterbilt was 8, correct?
8,000 on the dot. Yes, they lowered it. Same coverage, apples to apples coverage on it. The EW4 package on the Western Star is total package.
Mhm. And the bed on the Mack truck is what?
The bed on the Mack truck is through American Equipment. It's another local, it's similar to a Henderson. The fastbacks on the Hendersons that are commonly equipped with, they're nice for highway traffic, but for sliding material in and out of, you end up clipping it quite a bit with the fastback on it, the slope sides. So that slope sides, talking with the shop personnel, it wasn't a deal breaker if the bed did not have slope sides. They were, with a flatter bed, you don't need the height, and that's what we're getting with those fastbacks. Kind of like the old fastback pickup trucks where it slopes from high in the front down to low in the back. When you're loading on uneven ground, you think you clear your bed because you see on the right side where the bucket's clear, but you could be impacting the bed on your left side. So having a nice flat bed's easier for a loader operator.
So is Bruckner's and Dunan's allowed to quote a cheaper bed, or were they stuck with this expensive bed being
So we've-
Western Star quoted a cheap bed?
No, Bruckner's bed price was the same price as what Western Star quoted. We turned all the specs to each of them. Each three got the same spec sheet that we submitted last year.
So they really couldn't quote a cheaper bed if they wanted to.
I mean, they could, but it wouldn't meet specs. And unless they can knock off another $25,000 off his base truck price, I don't think the Peterbilt could have gotten down that low, because they were $15,000 more for a bed compared to the other two. That means their truck's 25 high.
That's because they quoted a Henderson bed. They didn't quote this,
Well,
whatever this brand is.
yeah, and that bed came in at 60,000. So if we take
Exactly.
15 off there, they're now at 192 compared to 174. And we've been having issues with getting warranty work serviced. It's all been before my time so far, but we're about to have it again where we buy a vehicle locally. The warranty work, it's high, we have to, on our dime and our time, haul the vehicle down to Wichita for the repairs. If that's,
You had two on the hood.
yes. And we're going
They
to
don't have a
again,
paint shop local.
but it's on our dime and our time.
Did
Normally
they
when a
not- did
vehicle's-
they not road one of the trucks down there?
No, we are expected to, and we are required to.
I thought they roaded one down and then they roaded it back. Their guy
Not
brought
to
it
my
back.
knowledge. It's been us both times.
You might want to check into that.
Okay. I know it was asked again of us that, with our most recent case, that was in all likelihood going to be the case. I mean, that's, if you buy something local, you want it to be serviced local, and if it can't be serviced local, if it's under warranty, it should be on the dealership's time and expense, not.
That's all my questions.
Okay. Commissioner Neal?
I like the local buy. That way if we do, we don't have to, send a guy or whatever, possibly two, if they have to keep it overnight or a week, whatever, but, it's, we can try it and see what it does,
And we've purchased quite a few Western Stars from I-70 in the past and had,
Yeah,
From
we
what
had
I've
a
heard from
fleet of
staff.
them At one time.
yeah, from what I've heard from the staff, they like working on it. The drivers like the Western Stars because they had a full fleet before they had full diagnostic tools. So they can get into it. They know that DB13 engine, as the shop foreman said, like the back of his hand because he's worked on so many of them. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing having to work on them all the time, but with an aging fleet of them and having been able to be real familiar with it, it's a benefit for us.
So really what this comes down to, Brandon, is we're going to buy locally, and this does save the taxpayer money.
That is our plan.
Okay?
That's what this
That's what we
shows.
did last time. I mean, the Peterbilts were local,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and the Macs were local too, as far as that goes.
Yep.
I too have to question, the box. Is there that many cross members under it? Is it, but if it's all spec'd out, then.
And it met our specs because the shop foreman, we sat down and put together all the specs again that were submitted last year. Made sure everything was up to date with what we wanted out of a piece of equipment. And he read through every proposal that was turned into us to make sure it met the specs and met what we wanted it to do and needed it to do.
Okay. Is there a motion for this?
Go ahead, Neil.
I move the commission approve the purchase of 2 new 2023 Western Star 4900 dump trucks from I-70 Truck Repair for $349,373.52 for the Public Works Road and Bridge Department.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Go ahead.
I'll make a second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Me?
Okay, so motion passes 2-1.
And then just for the commission's knowledge, with all the recent storming we've had, we had just around 44 hours of overtime this past weekend from Friday and Sunday. And my hours don't count, so those are free ones on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But we got quite a bit of rain, especially the northwest and southwest. We got a lot over in my area on the east side of the county, but it didn't tear up or go over as much as we thought it would. Big Creek's running pretty good now, so I'm going to check the Hoosier Bridge on my way home tonight because I fear that one might be underwater, so I've got cones in my truck.
Do we have a lot of damage out by Ellis, south of Ellis on them roads?
Yes and no. It all came out of Trigo.
I know.
Trigo got hit a lot harder than us, and the water rolls downhill, and now it's coming our way down through Big Creek and the like.
I know my old west of our farm, we had 6 inches out there in
Oh,
a couple hours.
yeah, it came hard and it came fast for quite a while. I blame Kurt because we were debating ordering oil for our chip sealing project. And we talked Friday after the first storm to see if we were going to still go to order. I said, well, if we order it, we know we're going to get rain all weekend. And if we don't order it, it's going to be nice and sunny all weekend. And so we ordered the oil and it rained all weekend, so I apologize on our behalf.
Can't control Mother Nature.
No, well, we can, it seems like. If we order oil, it rains. If we don't order it, it doesn't rain. It's
Should've
amazing
done
how that
in
works.
August,
That's right.
middle of August.
Oh, yeah. That's why I was hoping they were going to do it in July when I planted my lawn. Can't water it, and now all my grass seed died. And the Northeast County Line project that we talked about here a few months ago, that's just about done. So I know you take that way quite a bit. Have you noticed it? Is it tightened up and gotten a lot better and smoother?
It's gotten better.
Well, it's no longer so wide and so flat and shaped like a soup bowl. It's properly crowned, properly packed, just
The only thing I'd like to see on that Codell Road is, and I think Neil drives it too. But, every time, I don't know how much right of way we got. I'm guessing it's close to 60 feet.
in parts we've got more than that.
Okay, when we're done with the road, if you meet somebody, I'm driving a semi and I meet Neil in his pickup, you're on the edge of the road.
Yeah.
And I know when we elevate it, we have all that right of way. Why don't we make that road wide like it is where we haven't elevated it? You get north of, I think it's Buckeye, isn't it, Neil?
Yes.
When you get north of Buckeye, all the room in the world. Two semis meet each other at 50 mile an hour, there's no problem. Where we just elevated all that and rock that, you don't do that.
No.
It's
So
it's a hazard.
We design around a 24-foot wide roadway, so that way it can be two passed. When we start getting above that 24 to 26 feet, it becomes a 3-pass roadway. So each of my operators, they have a little over 100 miles to do. So if we made every road in their area 30 feet plus wide, it'd now be like having 150 feet of miles of road for them to grade. And we get complaints, well, we can't be everywhere at once. So we get complaints
understand that.
with 100 miles in each operator, but if we make it,
Them 3 miles, or I think it's about 3 miles, at 3 or
Yeah.
4,
About 4 miles.
Hey,
4 miles.
give it some
I mean,
time.
it's-
Yeah, give it time. It'll flatten out and widen out.
It's not a happy area to meet a
No,
truck and pick up on.
it's properly crowned, which is why it feels like you're all the way off the edge. Give it some time, let the water hit it, let some traffic pack it down, and it'll be back to being,
That'll be
wide.
good, because right now
it's tight and it's narrow.
if I get any calls at all on roads right now, it's that portion we just rocked.
It's Yosemite.
No, I haven't got any on Yosemite, all of mine been on Codell,
I get a lot of those ones.
do you?
Yeah, but same thing, it's a 30-foot plus wide road. And that's a big road.
Oh, it is.
And, I mean, if you painted lines down the center of it, when you feel like you're on the edge of the road, you'd see there's still a lot more room on there. It's just people get used to driving.
I don't know. I was on it again Saturday. It's
Yeah.
pretty narrow. Especially
I
when
won't
it's-
disagree with you. It's narrower than it was, but
Oh, it is. I mean,
it's not too narrow. We've got some single track roads out there that those ones you don't want another vehicle on. But
I was like 14 foot wide when I was on it Saturday, and I met a pickup, and he was on the sliding down part of the curve, and I was hugging my side hard.
alrighty.
But anyway,
Yeah, well, we can address that. Is there anything else, Commissioner?
not all. Thank you very much.
Alrighty,
And
thank
to
you.
all the guys,
Thank
thanks
you.
for all they're doing out there, especially when we get storms, so.
All right, that's why it's taken that project in Codell and northwest, or northeast part of the county line. Every time we get started on it, we'd get another flooding event. I don't know what Neil's doing down in Munger and Shinshin, but he seems to be bringing a lot of water that way.
Yeah,
And every time we get ready to get up there, it gets weather just right, they get 6 inches that way and it tears all the roads up and we gotta go back to fixing those before we can start on the next projects. Thank
yeah.
you.
Good deal.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Brendan.
Okay, our next item is the final 2022 budget presentation. Darren?
Good evening, Commissioner. Darren Myers, County Administrator. Tonight before you, in about 20 to 30 pages, is the proposed 2022 operating budgets for the general fund, the fire district fund, and the solid waste, as well as the capital plan for all departments as well. To date, we've had several meetings throughout the year, and this last proposal should be everything that the commission has either requested to be added, changed, within those last couple months. The current budget still includes the new funding for road and bridges to increase the road and bridge fund transfers each to 400,000 as well, for each different fund. And that's creating that new bridge fund as well, so that way they would be separate in the future. It also includes what we discussed, it was either last Monday or the Monday before, for the 10% estimated increase for health insurance, and all updated personnel changes that have had, changes of insurance or pay rates or et cetera, for all personnel. The goal, from what the commission had told me, was try to keep the mill levy as close to what it is now, which is 37.18 mils. The budget is not set exactly yet at that 37.18 mils. In Department 97 is our budget stabilization account. So as we look at the current budget and then the property tax valuations, motor vehicle tax, property tax, all those different valuations and their increases from last year to this year, those will be identified in the state fund or the state budget forms. And that line item will get increased to offset that, to keep the budget somewhere around that 37.1 to 0.15, try to keep it just under the 0.18 mils, because as Bobby can agree with, when we do the final budget figures at the end of the year, those numbers fluctuate just a very little. The budget number itself does not change, but the final precise mill levy does. So try to keep it around that 37.15 mils, so that way there's a little bit of flexibility in there. But with that, that's just a real quick overview of where we're at. You've been involved with it every step of the process. There's really no reason to rehash everything. If the commission doesn't have any changes, I will start working on the state budget forms, so that way I can get the budget hearing document sent to our county clerk, and she can get it to the newspaper for publication for a hearing, which will be in the middle of September, almost a month.
Well, I know I reviewed all 30 pages of what you handed us, and I really didn't see anything that I would object to.
Not much change, really. I mean, everything that we approved early on, so outside agencies, all the above.
Commissioner Neal, any comments?
I looked at it twice, and some of it's confusing and others make sense, but
Yeah.
it's well put together. And again, all the hard work you put in and all the staff, appreciate it.
So I guess proceed.
Understand. I will start working on the state documents next week, and you'll see a notification as soon as I get it done. I'll get it sent to the clerk's office, and she'll get it put in the paper. And I believe it has to be done 10 days before the public hearing, which I believe our hearing date was the 13th of September. So I got about 2 weeks left on looking at numbers. But we'll get it done and we'll proceed.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, and the next agenda item is the tax foreclosure sale. Counselor Jeter.
Bill Jeter, County Councilor. About 3 years ago this time, the Ellis County Treasurer and myself recommended the Commissioners that we initiate a tax foreclosure annually instead of waiting 2 or 3 or 4 years, so we'd have less properties to deal with, which makes it more manageable for us. This would be the 4th year in a row. The process is initiated by the County Commission approving a resolution directing me as County Councilor to institute an action in District Court. That's what we're here for tonight. Our current sale would have 17 properties which are 3 years delinquent with a total amount of taxes of $13,475.53.
Mm-hmm.
So I would answer any questions, and if not, would recommend on behalf of myself and the Ellis County Treasurer for the Commission to approve the resolution for me to start this process.
Well, I have no questions. Commissioner Hazelhorst?
None.
Commissioner Neal, any
Nope.
questions?
I have none.
Okay, I'll make a motion I make a motion to approve the tax foreclosure resolution 21-16.
Second, we'll go ahead.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Okay, County Administrator report. Darren.
I have no report this evening.
Okay, County Commission reports. Commissioner Younger.
Good to see Mrs. Donna out there and the rest of the people that took the time out and come here. And I did attend the city meeting, so Sarah's was kind of a repeat, but it's good to see people from the Historical Society. And my son was a big historian person, and it still upsets me that when I tried to take stuff there that I got turned down, and it's now placed in a different place that my dad was in the World War II, but we'll move forward and put that in the past. But other than that, everybody have a good, safe holiday coming up, and that's all I have.
Okay, Commissioner Hazelhorst.
Tomorrow I have Norm Bauer's retirement deal in Topeka, tomorrow from 3 to 5. I think there's a few people from Hayes going down, I believe. I think maybe Bill Ring and maybe a couple other ones. I think Kurt, maybe them guys are going. And Wednesday KAC meeting in Topeka, so that'll be talking about the upcoming Kansas Association of Counties annual convention they have every year. So that'll be the main topic there, and along with a few other happenings across the state. So we'll see what that brings up for next month's or next week's meeting. I can tell you about. That's all I got.
Okay, and I have no report. So that does end the county commission meeting. If I can get to my time here, I'll be in business.
6:03.
6:03. Thank you, Dean.